I'm really interested to see like where sexuality is going to be in like 10 years even. Like not where sexuality is going to be, but like, what am I trying to say? I don't know.
Welcome to Pelvic POV with your hosts and doctors of physical therapy, Amanda Neary and Hannah Meyer. Hey, pelvic freaks. Welcome back to another episode of Pelvic POV.
We're your freaks for us and we're freaks for your pelvis, baby.
All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to say it.
Say what?
I'm going to we have to talk about it.
No, but first, before we get into that, do you guys think my lip is too dark for every day?
Do you even know what I'm going to talk about?
Duh, Chappell Roan?
Yeah.
Of course I do. Was I born yesterday?
That's actually crazy because we didn't talk about talking about that.
I already know.
Yeah, I'm pissed.
Do you guys think my lip is too dark for every day?
No.
No?
Every day. I mean, it's more of an occasion.
Yeah?
Perhaps.
Is it going to look crazy when we film these trailers?
No, you look hot.
Cool.
I look like a scrub.
No, you don't.
It's fine.
All right.
I'm not pissed at Chappell Roan, for the record. I'm pissed at general group thought and chronic online activity and people lacking critical thinking skills.
Chappell Roan needs to be canceled. She yelled at my cat and then he cried.
Like,
I saw that on TikTok.
Do y'all actually hear yourselves? People are calling her a closet conservative and saying she's fake gay because of very fucking normal things she said in an interview.
Yeah.
It's like okay. There's multiple things we can talk about here.
Go into
it. There's the comment about motherhood, which in my opinion was just her experience of people in her life and what they've talked about. It wasn't saying anything about you and your kid at home. Like, if that's not your experience, whatever, get over it. I'm sorry. This whole also just this emphasis on motherhood in the US where we also don't care about moms in other countries and other things that are happening in the world. It gets me so wound up in a weird way because it's such a white feminism thing for me. I don't know. So I'm just all for it. I'm yeah, Chappell, speak your truth. Whatever.
Yeah. It's kind of I see the motherhood comment as okay, it's when my friends complain about their relationships to me. And then from the outside looking in, I see I know all the bad things about your relationship now, which is I know your relationship isn't bad, but I know all this lore, which is okay. You can complain to your friends about it. So I can see how that can get misconstrued. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure I could be complaining all the time and then it could look like I hate my life.
Yeah.
But I actually really love this relationship I'm in. And there's just ups and downs to every life experience.
Also, the comments she made that people made to her should have you thinking when you have kids, how does this country support me as a mother? No one's giving you paid leave. The US doesn't support this. Maybe these people are really struggling for very real reasons that are policies put in place by a government that doesn't support motherhood. So it's not Chappell saying moms suck. It's Chappell saying motherhood sucks in the US.
It's go deeper, deeper.
People want to hate her, so I think it's easy to pick that apart.
This goes back to our conversation we've had earlier this year where the hotter and more successful and cooler you are as a woman, the more people are going to want to hate you.
100%.
I actually saw this crazy TikTok video that was kind of talking about pretty privilege. And she had a really hot take on pretty privilege. It was okay, there is the hot take that pretty privilege exists as you get things easier because you're pretty. That's the idea of pretty privilege, right? But then the other spectrum of pretty privilege is that it's really hard to have real friends because you're going to have friends that want to compete with you and want to tear you down. I don't know. Have you ever experienced a friendship where you felt that friend wasn't a real friend and you felt they were just trying to almost they were praising your downfall? You know what I mean? Anytime something bad happened, it was finally, because they're so successful, finally something bad happened to them, because they want to bring you down to their level or something.
We've talked about this with having a small business, this podcast, and you reach out to people in your circle. I've been experiencing this for years now because I initially started doing online branding stuff back during COVID, and then I started the Pelvic Institute. And just seeing which of your friends actually go support your business, support your content, the people that actually want you to succeed will present themselves in your life and they'll be supportive the whole time. And it's like, this stuff isn't hard. It's like when you come across it, throw a like, people know engagement helps small businesses, and people that want to support us are going to go leave a rating on Spotify and Apple.
It's awesome.
And there are people that are just kind of wanting to see you fail and they're not your real friends. Mm-hmm. It's kind of that concept.
Or it's like an insecurity thing. Like, it's like, I can't have her succeed because then what does that say about me? You know what I mean? It could be. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it comes from a low self-esteem place. I don't think the intention is necessarily ill, but it comes across that way as like a friend of someone that's saying that.
I feel like this is a really common experience for a lot of women, but then you wake up and you realize like that's not how it should be.
It's also like the same, like Drew Afalo talks about how like everyone goes through a pick-me era.
Yes.
And it's very similar to that before you realize that like decentering men and actually supporting women is where you're going to find your best source of community and like friendship. But it's this very like, it's a patriarchal mindset where it's like, it's all centered around men giving you attention and getting male validation still. Whether it's like pretty privilege, wanting your friends to fail in their business, anything like that.
Yeah. We need to talk about community for a sec.
Okay. But then we have to get back to Chappell.
Okay, we'll get back to her. I'm leading off of what you said about community because community is not, I feel like a lot of people see community as, oh, like I'll hang out with my friend when I see, like when it works for me. But the real driving force behind community is like showing up for your friends and showing up for your community even when you don't want to. Like paying the price of a ticket, for example, to like see your friend perform, but you like wanted to hang out with your boyfriend that night, but like you're stepping out of your comfort zone and you're going to like this new experience or something, but it's like to support your friend and build people up. And I feel like that's where a lot of community gets misconstrued, and I feel like we can do better.
Totally. Yeah. And I think this is something that you and I have like fostered a really great community in the past year or so, like not even just with each other, but like I feel like we both have really good communities in Chicago. And again, as people that own a small business, you understand the importance of community in that, because we wouldn't be anything without our community. Like we could have 10,000 followers right now and then get up to 1 million, whatever the goal is. But like without the actual community of like our pelvic freaks, it's not really worth it because we're not like interacting with anyone. We're not enjoying anyone's conversation with us. And like that is what makes it worth it. So I think that helps bring that perspective in when you like have to have that community as part of your brand.
Yeah, I think that's how the realization really sinks in.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've noticed it with some of the events we've been doing. Amanda and I have been doing a lot more local Chicago events, which have been great. But I've noticed like my friends and the people that show up, and they show up not even just for me, but they show up because they know how important it is to have events like this for people who really need it and for our community, especially with like the time we're going through right now. And it's really cool to see when people like actually show up for you.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Even people that you're not super close to.
Yeah. And we appreciate you, pelvic freaks.
Yeah.
Our community is everything. And we probably would have quit doing this podcast by now if we didn't have you freaks, because it is not easy to do a podcast.
We love you, pelvic freaks. And you guys are killing it. Like you guys are sending us more questions in. Like nothing is TMI. Nothing is going to be judged by what you send in. You can literally send us anything. Make it anonymous. If you want us to talk about it on the podcast, let's do it, because you have no idea how many people are having the same questions, same stories that we need to get out there and talk about to build our community.
Every single submission we've gotten that was like, I don't know if this is too much, but we have gotten that submission from someone else before. Like nothing has surprised us. Nothing has been too much. It will never be too much. If it for some reason was, we just won't read it on the pod. There's no harm in submitting it if you have a question. Anyway, so the other thing Chappell said that was getting scrutinized was she basically, if you watch the whole segment, she's talking about how her rise to fame happened very quickly and escalated fast last year, which we all witnessed. And she has all these responsibilities that she didn't have before. And then she made a comment within that was like, and people are expecting me to like form my political opinion and vote based off of that.
Ooh, I was wondering what you thought about this.
So people are really misconstruing what she's actually saying. People are saying, oh, now she's apolitical. Now that she's famous, she doesn't have time for politics. That's not what she said. Like, I don't know if you're pulling that from what she actually said. I think you're just looking for a reason to hate a queer person that is in the spotlight. And I'm going to say that to your face if you talk to me about Chappell Roan that way. What she is saying is that when she did come forward with her political views, she was like slammed for those, and all she was saying was that she cares about human rights. So people were pissed back in November that she didn't endorse Kamala Harris for the presidency. And this is the debate where we have a two-party system, but it's basically voting for like the lesser of two evils. And who does that benefit when both parties are committing genocide, right? So like her main point was,
I remember her.
The Democratic Party is also contributing to genocide in Palestine. Now, regardless of how you voted, like I personally voted for Harris, but I get that point. I get that point of like, I'm not, and so did Chappell, by the way. She said that. She was like, I'm still voting for Harris. I'm just not going to endorse someone who is supporting genocide. I fully believe that, and I relate to that. That's really hard. And you know it's going to be one or the other in this election, so I get why you would have to make that choice. But what benefit does it have to society to endorse that going forward? Because like you're seeing all these posts now that are like, if Harris was president, we'd all be at brunch. It's like, okay, Palestinians would still be dying if she was. So I get the point in saying like, using your voice to actually stand up for something that matters. And that's basically what she did. She got torn apart because people are saying, oh, you made people vote for Trump. First of all, people who listen to Chappell Roan talk on TikTok are gay. They're not voting for Donald Trump. And if they are, they were not going to be swayed by Chappell Roan to vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That is not what happened. Her audience at that point in time was very queer. The straight people had not even taken over Chappell Roan yet. So get over it. I don't want to have this conversation again.
The Aries is showing. The Aries is showing. Back. Duck and cover pelvic freaks.
It's still Aries season while we're recording this, so I'm a little fiery today. Second,
do you want to keep it going, or do you want me to have my comment?
Have your comment.
Okay. My comment is, I can also see how intimidating and scary and mind-blowing it can be to one day have no one literally care about anything you have to say or what you stand for or who you are. And then literally overnight, everyone look to you and be like, who should I vote for? Like can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like I get what she means by that statement because she has a very strong sway. Like any celebrity is going to have a really strong sway. So they have to be careful in how they articulate what they say. But no matter how they articulate what they say to the public, everyone is going to perceive that comment differently, no matter what.
Exactly.
You can literally say like, I love babies. And the public can be like, well, she said she loves babies, but she doesn't mean the 0 to 6 month old babies. She only means the 6 to 12 months. And that's evil against babies, and Chappell Roan hates children.
Literally.
Like it could literally be something as stupid as that. You know what I mean?
And her point was like, don't go to a pop star for your political views, which like if anyone has critical thought, that's not how you're going to base your vote. It's like you might agree with someone. Usually people are just watching videos they agree with on the internet anyway, or something super controversial, which that wasn't. But yeah, it's like her point was valid. And if people actually listened to this segment and still took away like, oh, she must be a closet conservative because she's from Missouri. Okay, now let's discredit the entire South as if people born there don't have the capacity to read a book and educate themselves and form a political opinion, especially a queer person who was closeted a lot of her life and dealt with that discrimination firsthand. It's just so mind-boggling to me. I watched one TikTok video where this woman was just tearing down Chappell for what she said while wearing a Taylor Swift sweatshirt. And I bet your ass she has never once scrutinized Taylor Swift for being a white feminist openly and not speaking up about anything she cares about. That to me discredits your whole opinion. You're going to sit here and not give any scrutiny to someone who might even deserve it more. And
it is really weird. That's a good point, actually.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Second, okay.
I really did hate she's from Missouri. She must be. I mean,
ew, that's icky.
Yeah. I mean, I'm from Kentucky. I'm from the South. And
yeah,
you do just like we have our Chicago bubble, you do grow up in a bubble in the South. It's the same, just the opposite. And you really do have to work your way out. So like she probably was around plenty of conservative views growing up.
And that's not saying she was ever conservative either. Like, oh, here was my other point. She's not saying she doesn't have a political opinion. She's just saying don't go to her for your political opinion. That's not her saying she's too overwhelmed to care about things. That's just her saying maybe don't take every word she says and form your politics based off of it. This is someone who has credited Black trans drag artists for every ounce of fame that she has received and everything she's become from day one. Like, if you look back at Chappell videos, this wasn't like her throwing buzzwords out there to show that she cares. Like, this is who she is at her core. These are the charities she supports, the groups that she supports, and gives all of her credit to. So, like, if you actually do your research, you will realize that she is not a conservative person saying these things.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I just realized I'm like picking off the pills off the inside thigh of my pants, and it probably looks like I'm just sitting here scratching my crotch in front of you guys. So if you're watching the video and you're like, what is she doing? Is I'm just picking up my thighs rubbed together. So I have pilling on the inside of my legs. So I gotta do something with my hands.
Gotta do something with them hands. It's fine. That was a 20-minute banter.
We did a rantisode a little bit.
We did a rantisode. That's fine.
Should we just keep going with a rantisode?
Let's just rantisode. Let's fucking rage.
Guys, this is going to be a rantisode. Do you have something, you want to hear something else I want to rant about?
Yeah.
King Henry the whatever.
The 8th?
I don't know if it's the 8th. It's the XIV. XIV. X1V.
X is 10.
I don't know. One
For
of the
14th?
Henrys. Maybe. Do you guys know one of the lore reasons why women birth on their backs?
No.
It's because King Henry the whatever, he liked to watch his wives birth their babies on their backs. He like would watch them and he like would like to visualize it. And then it kind of like carried on throughout history.
Explain more.
Okay. You want me to pull it up?
Yeah, I need the lore now.
Okay.
I'm shocked and confused.
Oh, you didn't hear this?
No.
Is King Louis? Is it Louis?
Louis? He was a king.
Sorry, guys. Sorry to all the Henrys out there. It's King Louis. King Louis, I have a bone to pick with you. Okay. King Louis the XIV. What's that number?
14th.
King
There
Louis.
were 14 of them?
Probably more. King Louis the 14th is often credited with popularizing the supine, which is laying on your back position for childbirth in the 17th century. The legend says he wished to observe the deliveries of his mistresses in this position, which then became a standard practice. Early medical interventions and the medicalization of birth also contributed to this shift. But that's one of the lore pieces to that. Isn't that interesting?
Are you trying to rage bait me right now?
I'm rage baiting you. But anyways, I saw that. I came across that on we follow a lot of accounts on pelvic POV that have really good content. And I saw that on one of their posts. So I'm not sure who at. I forget. But
once again, a man dictates what a woman does with her body.
Isn't that interesting?
Because of his visual preferences during birth?
I mean, it makes sense. Like that is what made sense then. Yeah. And people really grasped onto tradition.
Yeah.
I could see like in the medieval times, like, well, if King Henry, sorry, Henry, Jesus, King Louis is doing it, then I must too.
That makes sense. But who knew that was how it got popularized to be the preferred position?
I don't think it's the only reason.
Yeah.
But it's like one of the theories, you know what I mean? If you really want to like go into it and go into history.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's going to be someone out there that could explain this a lot more, but this is coming from a person that saw this and looked into it more and was like, whoa, that's interesting. And I think the pelvic freak should hear about it.
And we're not saying that you can't birth on your back. That's fine. That's one of the birth positions. But if you're unfamiliar with the concept of birthing positions, there are many positions you can give birth in that are completely safe, even with an epidural. So this is something we talk to patients about in pelvic floor therapy. Sometimes they'll come in for birth prep and they've never even heard of these other positions you can be in. Yeah.
Yeah. You like side lying, hands and knees are both my favorite positions to teach people. And we can do an episode on different positions and what the benefits of each and the cons of each, because supine also has its benefits and each person is going to prefer a certain position. So like, it's not all the way wrong to deliver on your back, but that's just some interesting little lore and thought it would fit in with the Rantisode theme.
Little rantisode.
Okay, so I texted Amanda while I was in Texas and said, "What's queer baiting?" Because I didn't know. Like, I genuinely was like confused.
So it's
who was it that was being accused of queer baiting?
Dove Cameron was
yeah.
basically forced out of the closet because she was accused of queer baiting, which has happened to many people. Billie Eilish being one of them years ago. She like posted, "I like girls," and then people were like, "How dare you say that if you're not gay?" And she's like, "Okay, I guess I'll tell you all that I'm gay."
Yeah.
That's my perspective on why queer baiting is a shitty concept in general. But basically the point, the idea of queer baiting is that you're pulling queer concepts and putting it in your content to appeal to the LGBTQ audience. And then queer baiting is if you're not queer. But like we just said, it forces people out of the closet. It assumes sexuality to assume someone's queer baiting. It's just generally another group thought, lack of critical thinking concept that I think is stupid. Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm not going to assume anyone's sexuality.
Why should I?
Why should I?
That's weird.
It's weird. It's weird. It's stupid. It's weird.
It's weird,
it's
guys.
2025.
I'm really interested to see like where sexuality is going to be in like 10 years even. Like not where sexuality is going to be, but like what am I trying to say? The I don't know. Where I'm really interested. I'm really interested to see where people's thought processes are going to be on human sexuality in 10 years.
If we're not all dead.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think it's just going to get more and more fluid, right?
Yeah.
The same way gender is. The reason people are pushing so hard against trans people right now is because we've never been more advanced in trans advocacy and just people being more accepting.
Trans people have always existed.
They have always existed and they will always exist. It's just really the church that influences a lot of that group thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go listen to our church episode, religion episode. That was a cool conversation about it too.
We're not telling you guys what to believe, but like there is a component to how the church contributes to sexual dysfunction, pelvic floor dysfunction, and pain in general.
Yeah.
Guys, we're going to do a new bit, okay? Tell us if you like it. We'll see if it sticks. We're going to do our top favorite memes of this week. Ready?
What if I don't have them ready to go?
Figure it out.
I don't have them.
My first one is fart, then walk away, queen. And it's a picture of a field.
I like that they're visual, but we're just reading them.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Hold on, I gotta pull up my favorite roundup post.
I got one for Amanda.
What?
You must have sent these to POV because I didn't. And I like that for you.
Okay.
Ovulation so intense, I'm finding blonde men attractive. Did you send that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool.
I meant to put it on the story.
Life is dragging me by the thong right now. Hearts and rainbows.
Let's start with a 200% tariff on podcast equipment for straight men.
Yes, I saw that. That was funny. I must be constipated the way I don't give a shit.
I only get along with freaks, weirdos, neurodivergents, gays, sluts, and vampires.
Vampires is a period fact on fleek.
I was called a vampire.
I was called Drusilla from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That's crazy.
And I have never been happier in my life. I actually had two people. I can't remember. It was at your birthday party. Someone said I was giving Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Austin looked at me and was like, you have no idea how happy you just made her. I was like, you're right. That's the best compliment I could ever get. And then I was at the bachelorette party and someone said, have you ever seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer? And I said, does the church... Someone said, Hannah, have you ever seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer? And I said, do the cows come home?
Is that what you
In
said?
the evening? What's the saying?
Is the Pope Catholic?
It's the Pope Catholic.
Does a bear shit in the woods?
Does a bear poop in the woods? Yes, I've seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer 4 times.
Incredible. I still haven't. This meme says, hey, does anyone know why they did that to me?
Yeah, that's good. What if instead of a nervous system, we just had a super chill system?
That one was funny.
That's good.
The rest is still unwritten, bro.
Yeah, bro. I'm going to send that to you every time you're like,
So
is this
good.
GERD or am I going to die?
Guys, I think if I get my gallbladder removed after this episode, mark my words.
After this
I'm
episode.
having chest pain.
I really hope that doesn't happen, actually.
I hope
because
so,
we have a
too.
lot to do this weekend.
And I'm so busy and I can't do that right now.
This one says, I'm trying to be nicer, but the way freak just rolls off the tongue. And then there's a picture of a dolphin.
Yeah,
We're on the same frequency.
I saw that. What the cinnamon toast fuck is this? Cinnamon toast crunch.
And he's angry. Oh. Someone's mowing, right?
I think that's in the building. It is.
Can you tell them to stop?
They're drilling. We're gonna have to end the episode.
We should. It's done. Did you guys like those memes? We might do some more of our favorite memes.
We might do some more of our favorite memes. Also, let us know if you like the rantisode because we weren't planning on doing this, but then we were just really angry about a lot of things. So we needed to rant.
It's Aries season, so a rantisode is fitting.
It's fitting. This is our last recorded episode in Aries season,
Yeah.
right?
Ooh.
I think it might be
We
the
got
19th.
we got our pelvic freak story time coming up.
It's exciting.
I liked that. So we're doing the pelvic freak story time. This week is going to be sex ed didn't prepare me for this. We've already gotten some good submissions.
Submissions, bishes.
The next one we should do is an Am I in the Asshole?
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm down. That's
That
fun.
could be a fun one.
That's fun.
Pelvic floor edition.
All right, guys. Make sure you're following us on social media at Pelvic POV.
And leave us a 5-star rating and a 5-star review.
Beautiful. And
Please.
all right. That's it.
Peace out, homies.
Bye, pelvic freaks.
Not homies. Freaks.
Freaks.